The hand can teach the mind what thought alone has not yet been able to hold. A sentence passing through your mind can disappear almost as quickly as it arrived. It can sound beautiful for a moment, then dissolve beneath the next worry, the next number, the next task, the next old reaction. You may agree with a kinder idea while hearing it, yet still feel the older message sitting deeper inside you. The mind can nod before the body trusts. It can repeat something hopeful while another part of you remains unconvinced. The hand changes the pace. When you place a pen against paper, thought becomes slower. It must move through your fingers. It must take shape where your eyes can witness it. You cannot rush through a line in quite the same way. Each word takes up space. Each word leaves a mark. The sentence is no longer a passing idea. It becomes something you have participated in making. This is why a few honest words on a page can sometimes reach places that 100 hurried thoughts cannot. The page does not argue. It does not interrupt. It does not ask you to perform confidence you do not yet feel. It waits. It gives your inner life somewhere to become visible. You may have tried positive statements before. You may have repeated them while getting ready, while driving, while trying to calm yourself after looking at a bill or thinking about the future. Some lines may have helped. Some may have felt distant. Some may have sounded as though they belonged to a person living a life very different from yours. There is nothing wrong with you if a hopeful sentence has ever felt difficult to accept. The difficulty is information. It shows you where the older sentence still lives. It shows you where fear learned to sound responsible. It shows you where tension became confused with preparation. It shows you where expecting less began to feel safer than hoping for more. A page can hold both truths at once. It can hold the part of you that wants to change and the part that still braces. It can hold the sentence you inherited and the sentence you are choosing now. It can become a quiet meeting place between what has been repeated for years and what you are ready to practice from this day forward. You do not need perfect faith before you begin. You do not need to feel transformed before the first word appears. You do not need to force certainty into your hand. You only need enough honesty to begin with the sentence that is true today. You may be becoming calmer around numbers. You may be learning to pause before assuming the worst. You may be beginning to believe that your needs can be named without shame. You may be practicing the idea that support can be accepted without debt in your heart. You may be willing to consider that your future does not have to repeat every hard season behind you. That willingness matters. A new inner direction often begins before it feels natural. It begins as a line that your old conditioning cannot yet fully agree with. It begins as a small act of authorship. You stop letting every inherited message remain unquestioned. You place one different sentence beside it. Then you return to that sentence until it becomes easier to read, easier to say, easier to carry, and eventually easier to live. The page is not magic. The pen does not erase reality. A statement does not replace practical decisions, honest conversations, budgeting, learning, asking for help, or qualified guidance when pressure is serious. What the page can do is help you hear the voice guiding those actions. It can help you recognize whether you are moving from panic or steadiness. It can help you see whether you are shrinking before a choice has even been offered. It can show you the difference between care and fear, between discernment and self-denial, between patience and avoidance. That difference can shape a life. Consider how often an old message enters before you make an ordinary choice. You look at your balance and hold your breath before the number even appears. Your shoulders tighten as though the screen is about to judge your character. You read the amount, and within seconds, your mind may begin building a story. You tell yourself you should be further ahead. You compare your private reality with someone else's visible success. You review every recent purchase with suspicion. You turn a number into a verdict about your intelligence, your discipline, your worth, or your future. The number may require attention. The shame does not help you give it better attention. A calmer mind can still be honest. A steady mind can still make changes. A compassionate voice can still say, "This needs care." You may have learned that cruelty is the only voice strong enough to keep you responsible. You may believe that if you stop criticizing yourself, you will become careless. Yet criticism often creates the very fog you are trying to escape. It makes you afraid to look closely. It makes you delay opening messages. It makes you avoid asking questions because you fear what the answers will say about you. It turns useful information into a threat. Responsibility grows more easily in dignity than in humiliation. You may also recognize yourself in the way you price your time. You prepare carefully. You give more than was requested. You answer quickly. You add one more revision, one more favor, one more unpaid hour because you want to be generous, easy to work with, grateful for the opportunity, impossible to reject. Then the moment comes to name your rate, ask for what is owed, or explain that the scope has changed. Your voice becomes smaller. You calculate what the other person might think. You lower the number before they have responded. You offer a discount they did not request. You make your needs invisible and call it professionalism. Later, resentment arrives. Exhaustion follows. You wonder why your effort is not recognized, while another part of you knows you have been trained to hide its true cost. This does not make you weak. It means you may have connected being valued with being undemanding. You may have learned that good people do not ask for too much. You may have watched adults praise sacrifice while quietly resenting it. You may have heard need spoken of as burden. You may have seen conflict follow every request. The body remembers those lessons even when the adult mind has learned better words. You can understand fairness and still feel danger when you practice it. You can know your work has value and still feel exposed when you name that value. You can believe others deserve support and still hesitate to include yourself. The page gives that hesitation somewhere to speak. You can place the old sentence down without obeying it. You can look at it directly. I must ask for less to remain safe. I have to prove my worth before I can be paid fairly. Other people's comfort matters more than my limits. If I need help, I have failed. Once a sentence is visible, it becomes easier to question. Who taught you this? What did it protect you from? What has it cost you? Does it belong in the next chapter of your life? You do not have to answer with blame. The people around you may have been doing the best they could under the weight they carried. They may have repeated what they had been taught. They may have been surviving seasons that left little room for reflection. Understanding the origin is not the same as condemning the source. Understanding gives you choice. There may be guilt after ordinary spending. You buy something useful and immediately begin defending it in your mind. You explain why it was necessary, even when no one has questioned you. You replay the decision. You search for proof that you were not foolish. You promise yourself that you will make up for it by denying another need later. The item may be modest. The reaction is not really about the object. It may be about an old rule that said safety can disappear without warning. It may be about watching someone panic over a receipt. It may be about hearing arguments behind a closed door. It may be about feeling that every desire placed extra weight on a tired household. A child can decide very quickly, I should not need much. A child can become proud of being easy. A child can confuse silence with goodness. Then adulthood arrives, and the rule keeps operating. You postpone replacing what is worn out. You delay rest until it is earned beyond any reasonable measure. You feel discomfort when something is purchased only because it brings ease or beauty. You may even spend impulsively at times, not because you do not care, but because long restriction can create its own rebellion. One part clamps down, another part breaks free. Then shame punishes both. The deeper work is not to make either part the enemy. The deeper work is to build enough inner steadiness that choices are not controlled by deprivation or reaction. You deserve to make practical decisions without turning every decision into a trial of your worth. You deserve to enjoy what fits within your reality without inventing punishment afterward. You deserve to learn without speaking to yourself as though one mistake has destroyed every future possibility. You may deflect help before you have even considered whether it would be useful. Someone offers to share knowledge. Someone gives you a contact. Someone offers time, encouragement, a meal, a ride, a recommendation, a chance to collaborate, a piece of information, a sincere act of care. Your first response is to reduce the gift. You do not have to. I am fine. It is no trouble. I will figure it out. You may believe you are being considerate. Sometimes you are. Boundaries and discernment matter. Not every offer is clean. Not every opportunity is right. Yet there are moments when refusal is not wisdom. It is an old reflex. Receiving can feel like owing. Support can feel like exposure. Being helped can awaken the fear that someone will later use the gift as evidence against you. You may have learned that every kindness had a hidden invoice. You may have learned that gratitude meant surrendering your voice. You may have learned to stay independent because independence seemed to be the only place no one could control. That protection deserves respect. It helped you. It may have carried you through times when relying on others was not safe. You are not required to abandon discernment in order to become more open. You are learning the difference between support and control. You are learning that a clear yes can exist beside a clear no. You are learning that accepting what is freely offered does not erase your dignity. You are learning that mutual care is not weakness. A new sentence can help the body understand what the adult mind already knows. You may postpone joy until everything feels settled. You tell yourself you will breathe when the next payment clears. You will rest when the uncertainty ends. You will celebrate when the goal is complete. You will feel proud when no problem remains. You will buy the flowers, take the walk, call the friend, prepare the good meal, sit in the afternoon light, wear the clothes you have been saving, or enjoy the day when life finally gives you a reason to stop bracing. The trouble is that life rarely becomes perfectly settled. One concern resolves and another arrives. One season opens while another closes. There will always be something unfinished. Postponing every form of peace until nothing is uncertain can become a lifelong agreement with tension. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to make anxiety the admission price for being responsible. You can care and still breathe. You can plan and still eat slowly. You can face a difficult week and still speak kindly in your own home. You can work toward greater stability without treating the present moment as unworthy of all comfort. You can give yourself small experiences of enoughness before every external condition has changed. This is not denial. It is nourishment. A nervous system that receives no moments of safety will struggle to make clear choices. A mind that is never permitted to pause becomes more reactive, not more prepared. Small, honest forms of peace can support the very courage needed for practical action. You may recognize another pattern. Good news arrives, and you immediately search for the problem inside it. A new opportunity appears, and your mind lists every way it could go wrong. Someone appreciates your work, and you explain why it was not difficult. A payment comes in, and relief lasts only a moment before you begin assigning every part of it to future fear. You do not let the experience land. You move from arrival to defense. You may call this being realistic. Often it is the habit of staying ahead of disappointment. If you do not enjoy anything fully, perhaps losing it will hurt less. If you remain unimpressed, perhaps you will not become careless. If you expect the worst, perhaps the worst will not surprise you. This strategy may once have helped you feel prepared. It also makes it difficult for the body to register support when support is present. The point is not to become naive. The point is to stop treating every good moment as a trap. You can welcome what is here while knowing life will continue to change. You can appreciate progress without claiming the journey is complete. You can let relief be relief. You can let gratitude exist without demanding that it protect you from every future difficulty. The page can help you practice this. You can record what went well without adding a warning beneath it. You can name one choice you handled with care. You can name one resource already available to you. You can recognize one way you are more capable now than you were before. You can acknowledge one act of support without minimizing it. These are not empty exercises. They train attention. They help the mind include evidence it has been excluding. Old conditioning often edits reality. It highlights threat and ignores capacity. It remembers every mistake and overlooks every repair. It studies what is missing and dismisses what is growing. A new practice does not require you to deny the missing pieces. It asks you to see the whole picture. You may be carrying a private fear that calm will make you lose your edge. You may believe worry is the reason you have survived. You may point to every crisis you anticipated and forget the thousands of anxious predictions that never happened. You may have built your identity around being the one who thinks ahead, catches the problem, carries the backup plan, and protects everyone from uncertainty. There is strength in preparation. There is love in care. There is wisdom in planning. The question is whether fear must remain in charge of those strengths. Planning can come from clarity. Saving can come from self-respect. Asking questions can come from curiosity. Setting limits can come from dignity. Learning can come from hope. You are not trying to become less responsible. You are learning to become responsible without abandoning yourself. That is a profound change. It begins in language. Before a pattern becomes an action, it is often a sentence. I cannot handle this. There will never be enough. I am always behind. I ruin every opportunity. I should have known better. People like me do not get to feel secure. These lines can move so quickly that you barely hear them. They become the background commentary beneath your day. They shape the posture you bring into conversations. They influence what you ask for, what you assume, what you avoid, and what you tolerate. The hand slows them down. The page reveals them. You can read a sentence and finally hear its harshness. You can recognize that you would never speak that way to someone you loved. You can see how absolute the language has become. Always, never, everyone, no one, ruined, hopeless, too late. Those words make a temporary situation feel permanent. They make one event feel like an identity. They reduce a complicated life to a single conclusion. A more truthful sentence can be firm without being cruel. This is difficult, and I can take one useful step. I do not know everything yet, and I can learn. I made a choice I would handle differently now. I am willing to look closely without attacking myself. I can ask for qualified help. I can practice a calmer response. These sentences do not pretend. They create movement. They return time to the future. They return dignity to the present. They return agency to your hands. You may have absorbed your earliest messages in ordinary rooms during ordinary moments, long before you had words for what was happening. A face tightened at the sight of an envelope. A voice changed when a price was mentioned. A parent said, "We cannot afford that," with fear larger than the sentence. An adult worked without rest and called exhaustion virtue. Someone generous gave beyond their capacity, then suffered in silence. Someone else held tightly to every resource because loss had once arrived without warning. You watched, you listened, you formed conclusions. No one had to sit you down and teach a formal lesson. Children learn through atmosphere. They learn through pauses, glances, arguments, apologies, secrets, and the subjects adults refuse to discuss. You may have learned that security is fragile. You may have learned that wanting creates trouble. You may have learned that successful people are selfish. You may have learned that struggle proves goodness. You may have learned that being visible attracts criticism. You may have learned that asking a question exposes ignorance. You may have learned that having more means someone else has less. You may have learned that comfort must be justified. These lessons did not enter because you were foolish. They entered because you were open. A young mind tries to make the world predictable. It turns repeated experiences into rules. Those rules can remain active long after the original environment has changed. The child's conclusion becomes the adult's reflex. The family's fear becomes the individual's voice. A hard season becomes a lifelong expectation. You can honor where these messages came from without continuing to live inside them. There is no need to mock the person you once were. There is no need to shame the people who passed down what they knew. Compassion makes revision possible. When you understand that a sentence was learned, you also understand that it can be reconsidered. When you see that a reaction was practiced, you can begin practicing another response. When you realize that fear was trying to protect you, you can thank the protection and choose a wiser guide. This is where the page becomes more than a place for pretty words. It becomes a place of honest revision. You are not covering an old line with a brighter line and pretending the first never existed. You are reading the old line carefully. You are recognizing the conditions that created it. You are deciding whether it remains true. You are choosing language that better reflects the adult you are becoming. There may be grief in this process. You may see how long you have carried a burden that was never yours to begin with. You may recognize opportunities you avoided, needs you silenced, or joy you postpone. Let that recognition be tender. Awareness is not a courtroom. The purpose is not to prosecute your past. The purpose is to free your next choice. You did what made sense with the understanding, support, and capacity available at the time. You can know more now. You can choose more consciously now. You can ask different questions now. You can place a different sentence on the page now. That is enough for today. The first shift does not have to be dramatic. It may be the moment you look at a number and keep breathing. It may be the moment you resist apologizing for a fair request. It may be the moment you accept sincere help without immediately searching for a way to repay it. It may be the moment you purchase something necessary and do not punish yourself afterward. It may be the moment you admit that you need guidance. It may be the moment you stop calling yourself a failure for being in a learning season. These moments are small enough to overlook. They are also where a new pattern begins. You are not required to leap from fear into certainty. You can move from fear into curiosity. You can move from shame into information. You can move from avoidance into one clear action. You can move from self-attack into honest review. You can move from I will never change into I am practicing another way. The hand understands practice. It does not demand that one line transform a lifetime. It returns to the page. It forms the letters again. It lets repetition become familiarity. It lets familiarity become a new inner tone. Today, you are not being asked to prove anything. You are being asked to witness what has been guiding you. You are being asked to hear the sentence beneath the reaction. You are being asked to separate inherited fear from present truth. You are being asked to place one kinder, steadier possibility beside the old conclusion. The page can hold the beginning. Your hand can make it visible. Your life can learn it slowly. Many of the rules you carry were formed before you had the power to test them. You were not sitting at a table with a list of ideas, choosing which ones would guide your future. You were absorbing the emotional weather around you. You were studying what made the adults tense, what made them quiet, what made them argue, what made them feel proud, and what made them feel ashamed. You learned from what was said. You also learned from what was never said. You may have lived in a home where every purchase required an explanation. Even a small need could become a discussion about sacrifice. You may have learned to ask carefully, watching the expression on someone's face before finishing the request. You may have learned to say, "It is okay, I do not need it," before anyone had answered. That sentence may have been praised. You may have been called mature. You may have been described as easy, thoughtful, or responsible. A child often accepts praise as proof that the behavior should continue. If asking for less brought approval, then asking for less became part of being goo. D. If hiding disappointment reduced tension, then hiding disappointment became part of keeping the peace. Years later, you may still silence a need before another person has a chance to respond. You may still feel discomfort when someone spends time, care, or resources on you. You may still search for the least expensive option, even when a better option is reasonable and sustainable. You may still feel proud of enduring what could be improved. The old rule may whisper, "Needing less makes me safer to love." That rule deserves compassion. It was formed by a younger part of you trying to protect connection. It does not have to remain the law of your adult life. You can become considerate without erasing yourself. You can respect limits without treating every need as excessive. You can make thoughtful choices without living as though your presence is an expense others must survive. Some households taught a different lesson. You may have watched resources appear and disappear unpredictably. There may have been periods of ease followed by sudden strain. Plans may have changed without explanation. Promises may have been made with confidence and broken under pressure. In that environment, you may have learned not to trust stability. You may have learned that anything good can vanish. You may have learned to use what is available immediately because tomorrow feels uncertain. You may have learned to avoid looking ahead because the future has disappointed you before. Now, when you try to plan, one part of you may resist. A plan can feel like a promise that life might break. Saving can feel pointless if you expect an emergency to take everything. Long-term thinking can awaken grief from earlier times when preparation was not enough. This does not mean you are incapable of planning. It means planning may carry emotional weight. You can begin by separating the present choice from the old memory. A plan today is not a guarantee. It is an act of care. A small reserve is not proof that nothing difficult will happen. It is one way of supporting yourself if something does. You do not need to trust the whole future before taking one responsible step. You only need to trust your ability to respond to the next part. Other families placed great value on hard work while leaving little room for rest. You may have watched people push through exhaustion, illness, grief, and fear because stopping was not considered an option. Their strength may have been real. Their effort may have kept everyone going. You may carry deep respect for them. You may also have inherited the idea that ease is suspicious. If something comes without struggle, you may question whether you deserve it. If a task can be completed more efficiently, you may add unnecessary difficulty. If someone offers a useful shortcut, you may feel that accepting it would make your success less honest. You may work beyond what is required because stopping at enough feels like laziness. You may delay asking for better terms, better tools, or better support because endurance has become part of your identity. The older message may say, "Only suffering proves that I have earned what I have." Look at the cost of that sentence. It can make you loyal to struggle, even after struggle is no longer necessary. It can cause you to reject improvement because improvement does not look heroic. It can make exhaustion feel morally superior to balance. Hard work has value. Commitment has value. Patience has value. None of them require self-punishment. You are allowed to become skilled enough that some things become easier. You are allowed to use what you learn. You are allowed to make a better process. You are allowed to finish without draining yourself completely. The value of your effort is not measured only by how much it hurts. You may come from a place where success was spoken about with suspicion. People who had more may have been described as greedy, dishonest, shallow, or lucky. Their character may have been judged without knowing their story. Sometimes those judgments grew from real experiences of unfairness. People may have been exploited. Opportunities may have been denied. Trust may have been broken. The anger may have had a reason. A young mind, however, can turn a painful observation into a broad rule. Having more makes people bad. Being visible makes people dislike you. Doing well means leaving others behind. If I grow, I will no longer belong. These messages can create a hidden conflict. One part of you wants progress. Another part fears what progress would say about you. You may work toward an opportunity, then pull back when it gets close. You may underestimate your ability in a room where confidence is required. You may hide your accomplishments so no one thinks you have changed. You may feel guilty when your situation improves while people you love are still struggling. You may try to carry everyone with you before you have learned to stand steadily yourself. Your care for others is not the problem. The problem begins when love becomes tied to remaining limited. You do not honor another person's hardship by refusing your own growth. You do not become more loyal by making your life smaller. You can stay kind as your capacity expands. You can remain connected while making different choices. You can offer support without taking responsibility for every outcome. You can remember where you came from without recreating every difficulty. Growth does not have to be betrayal. Sometimes the inherited rule is about silence. Numbers may never have been discussed clearly in your home. Adults may have protected children from worry by saying very little. Or they may have carried embarrassment that made open conversation difficult. You may have reached adulthood knowing how to work, but not how to organize. You may have known how to give, but not how to set limits. You may have known how to worry, but not how to ask useful questions. You may have known how to avoid a topic, but not how to learn it. Then shame may have appeared. You told yourself everyone else already understood. You believed you were too late. You hid confusion because confusion felt like evidence of failure. Yet knowledge is learned. No one arrives knowing how every system works. No one is born understanding contracts, taxes, pricing, saving, negotiation, or planning. People learn through teaching, experience, mistakes, questions, and guidance. Not knowing is not a character defect. Refusing to learn because of shame keeps the gap open. You can begin anywhere. You can ask one clear question. You can read one reliable source. You can organize one document. You can speak with someone qualified when the issue requires expertise. You can say, I need help understanding this without turning the sentence into a confession. That is not weakness. That is participation in your own life. Affirmations can support this process by changing the tone in which you meet yourself. They can help you practice a steadier inner response, but they are not financial advice, and they do not replace practical action. Real pressure may require a budget, a repayment plan, a legal conversation, additional support, or guidance from a qualified professional. A calm sentence is most useful when it walks beside honest steps. The purpose of this inner practice is not to make you ignore facts. It is to help you face facts without losing your dignity. Fear narrows attention. When you feel threatened, the mind searches for immediate danger. It becomes more difficult to see options, sequence tasks, or think beyond the next urgent moment. You may focus so intensely on one problem that you overlook information that could help. Shame narrows attention too. It directs your focus toward proving that you are wrong, behind, careless, or incapable. It collects evidence for the accusation. It may ignore evidence that you are learning, adapting, repairing, and becoming more aware. The sentence beneath your fear influences what you see. If your inner message says there is never enough, your attention may be drawn almost entirely to absence. You may overlook the skills you already possess. You may dismiss small improvements because they do not feel large enough. You may fail to recognize support because it does not arrive in the form you expected. You may treat every delay as confirmation that nothing is changing. This does not mean the missing pieces are imaginary. It means attention can become trained to exclude the rest of the picture. If the old message says, "I always make the wrong choice," then every uncertain decision becomes dangerous. You may delay until the choice is made for you. You may ask many people for advice, then feel more confused because you no longer know which voice is yours. You may choose the safest looking option, not because it fits, but because you want protection from regret. Later, if the outcome is imperfect, you use it as proof. You forget the decisions that went well. You forget the times you corrected course. You forget that mature decisions are often made with incomplete information. You forget that a good choice can still lead to a difficult result. A new inner message does not promise perfect judgment. It supports a more useful process. I can gather information and choose carefully. I can change direction when new facts appear. I can learn from an outcome without attacking myself. These sentences leave room for thought. They leave room for revision. They leave room for courage. If the older message says, "Asking makes me a burden," you may not seek information that could improve your situation. You may try to solve everything alone. You may spend hours struggling with something another person could explain in minutes. You may wait until the problem becomes urgent before speaking. The message shapes behavior downstream. It affects the email you do not send. It affects the question you do not ask. It affects the meeting you avoid. It affects the boundary you fail to set. It affects the rate you do not name. This is how an internal sentence can influence practical outcomes without controlling fate. It changes what you attend to. It changes how long you persist. It changes what you tolerate. It changes whether you prepare. It changes whether you speak. It changes the energy you bring into a decision. No affirmation can command the world to respond in a certain way. It can help you become more available to your own wisdom. It can help you enter a conversation with less apology. It can help you pause long enough to choose instead of react. It can help you remember that discomfort is not always danger. It can help you stay present when an old reflex tells you to disappear. That is real change. It is modest. It is practical. It is built through repetition. Think of a person who believes there is no point in looking closely because the truth will only be bad. That person may avoid statements, messages, or records. The lack of information increases uncertainty. Uncertainty increases fear. Fear makes avoidance feel even more necessary. The original message creates a loop. Now imagine the sentence changes slightly. I can look at one part at a time. The situation outside may be the same. The first action is different. One message is opened, one number is recorded, one question is listed, one next step becomes visible. The new sentence has not solved everything. It has changed the direction of movement. That is how language begins to influence behavior. A sentence can become a doorway into action. It can also become a wall. I am too far behind is a wall. I can begin with what is here is a doorway. I should already know is a wall. I can learn the next useful thing is a doorway. I always ruin progress is a wall. Am capable of making a repair is a doorway. The words do not remove responsibility. They make responsibility more possible. Harsh language often pretends to be motivating. It says, if I scare you enough, you will change. For a brief time, fear can produce movement. You may rush, overwork, deny yourself, or make a sudden plan. The movement may look productive from the outside. Yet fear is difficult to sustain without damage. Eventually, the body becomes tired. Avoidance returns. The plan becomes another standard used against you. A steadier voice works differently. It says, this matters, and we can face it. It does not minimize the issue. It does not exaggerate your failure. It keeps you connected to the next step. Consistency grows from this connection. When you do not have to protect yourself from your own voice, it becomes easier to return. You can review, you can adjust, you can begin again. The way you speak inwardly also affects courage. Courage is not the absence of discomfort. It is the willingness to act while discomfort is present. If every uncomfortable feeling is interpreted as a warning to stop, growth becomes difficult. Asking for fair treatment may feel uncomfortable. Learning a new system may feel uncomfortable. Reading the details may feel uncomfortable. Declining an offer may feel uncomfortable. Accepting an opportunity may feel uncomfortable too. The body may react because the action is unfamiliar, not because the action is wrong. A practiced sentence can remind you of this difference. This feeling is old and this choice is new. I can be uncomfortable and still be safe. I can pause without retreating. I can take time to decide. These statements help create space between sensation and conclusion. The goal is not to override intuition. True discernment matters. The goal is to stop treating every old alarm as current truth. You can listen closely without surrendering your authority. You can ask, what is this feeling protecting? You can ask, what facts do I have? You can ask, what support would make this step more manageable? You can ask, am I responding to the present or repeating the past? The page can hold these questions without demanding an immediate answer. Writing slows the rush to conclusion. It gives thought a visible sequence. It reveals contradictions that remain hidden when everything stays inside. You may begin with, I cannot afford to make a mistake. Then, as the line sits in front of you, another truth appears. Avoiding every choice is also a choice. Refusing to begin can have a cost. Waiting for complete certainty can keep you in the same place. The page does not shame you for this discovery. It lets you see more clearly. You may begin with, no one will value what I offer. Then you may remember moments when people did. You may realize that the deeper fear is not that no one will value it. Deeper fear may be that someone will, and then you will have to stand behind it. You may have to be visible. You may have to name a price. You may have to tolerate judgment from people who preferred you smaller. That is a different issue. A visible sentence can lead you beneath the first explanation. This is why honesty matters more than forced positivity. You are not trying to decorate the surface. You are trying to understand the current beneath it. Suppose your page says, I feel safer, expecting less. That is honest. It tells you that hope has been connected with danger. You do not need to cross it out immediately. You can answer with a bridge. I am learning that hope and wisdom can exist together. The bridge does not insult your history. It does not demand instant trust. It introduces another possibility. Suppose the page says, I do not trust myself with important decisions. You can answer, I am building trust through small, informed choices. The new line gives you something to practice. Each careful choice becomes evidence. Each review becomes evidence. Each correction becomes evidence. Trust grows through participation, not through waiting to feel perfect. The same principle applies to self-worth. You may say, I only feel worthy when I am useful. Then ask what happens when you are tired. What happens when you need care? What happens when you have nothing to prove? If worth depends entirely on usefulness, rest can feel like disappearance. A bridge may say, my value remains while I rest, learn, and receive support. That sentence may feel unfamiliar. Unfamiliar does not mean false. It means the older pathway has been traveled more often. Repeated language helps create a new pathway, especially when the words are connected to action. You say you are learning to respect your time, then you protect 1 hour. You say you can ask clearly, then you send one message without excessive apology. You say you can look at facts calmly, then you review 1 page and stop before overwhelm. The sentence guides the step. The step gives the sentence evidence. This is how inner and outer work strengthen each other. The process may seem quiet. That quietness can make you doubt it. You may expect transformation to announce itself. You may look for a dramatic feeling, a sudden confidence, or a visible sign that everything has changed. When that sign does not appear, you may assume the practice is not working. Many important changes begin where the eye cannot immediately see them. Deep beneath ordinary ground, water can gather after rain. The surface may look almost unchanged. The same paths remain. The same stones remain. The same dry grasses may still bend in the wind. Yet below them, the earth is holding more than it held before. Moisture moves through layers of soil and stone. It travels into spaces hidden from view. It collects slowly. It feeds roots that cannot announce what they have received. The ground may seem quiet while its reserves are rising. Your inner life can change in this way. You may speak to yourself with greater care and still have a difficult day. You may put a new sentence on the page and still feel the old reaction. You may take one practical step and still wish you were further ahead. Do not mistake an unchanged surface for an unchanged foundation. A reserve can grow before confidence becomes visible. Clarity can collect before a decision is made. Self-trust can deepen before your voice sounds different. One honest line can enter the hidden places where your future choices begin. The page may look simple. The movement beneath it is not. You are teaching your attention where to return. You are teaching your body that looking does not always lead to shame. You are teaching your voice that a request can be made without apology. You are teaching yourself that steadiness can exist before certainty. Every return adds something. Every careful sentence is another drop entering the ground. Every practical action helps it travel deeper. You may not see the full reserve yet. That does not mean nothing is being held. What gathers beneath the surface is not wasted because it cannot yet be seen. After good rain, the land does not always change its appearance at once. A path may still look pale. Dust may remain along the stones. The field may seem almost as it did before the clouds opened. Someone passing quickly could assume the rain made little difference. The ground knows otherwise. Water has entered through the places that were ready to take it in. It has moved between particles of soil. It has slipped through narrow seams in stone. It has traveled below the level where the eye can follow. Some of it will return quickly through leaves and air. Some will continue downward, joining a deeper reserve. The hidden level rises slowly. It rises without applause. It does not demand that the surface prove its progress. It does not become less real because no one can point to it yet. This is how a new inner sentence begins to serve you. You place it on the page, and outwardly the day may continue as before. The same responsibilities wait. The same questions may remain unanswered. You may still feel tension when you look at a number. You may still hesitate before asking for fair treatment. You may still hear the old voice offering its familiar conclusion. The first line does not need to silence every old reaction. It needs somewhere to enter. Each honest repetition carries the new message beneath the surface. It moves past the part of you that wants immediate proof. It reaches the quieter places where expectations, reflexes, and choices begin to form. At first, you may only recognize the sentence while the page is open. Later, it may return when you need it. You may hear it before criticizing yourself. You may remember it while preparing for a difficult conversation. You may feel it in the small pause before repeating an old habit. That pause is part of the reserve. It gives you a little more room than you had before. A reserve is not the same as a performance. It does not need to look impressive. It is something held for future use. It supports life quietly. It gives roots somewhere to reach when the upper layer becomes dry. Your steadiness can become that kind of resource. It may be built from moments too ordinary to celebrate. Opening what you once avoided. Asking what you once pretended to understand. Reviewing a choice without insulting yourself. Waiting before reacting. Telling the truth about what you can and cannot do. Declining what does not fit. Accepting care that comes without control. Taking one practical step while uncertainty remains. Each act enters the deeper ground. You may not feel different after every act. A root does not report each drop it finds. The field does not announce each small increase below. The value is revealed over time, especially when a hard season asks what has been stored. Then you may discover that you can stay present longer. You may find that a difficult fact no longer sends you immediately into panic. You may hear yourself ask a clearer question. You may realize you no longer agree with every fearful thought. You may decide more slowly and recover more quickly. These changes are easy to miss when you are searching only for dramatic transformation. Look for capacity instead. Can you remain with the truth for one more minute? Can you speak to yourself with less contempt? Can you identify the next action without demanding the whole solution? Can you tolerate the discomfort of being visible? Can you recognize support without instantly reducing it? Capacity is a hidden reserve. It grows before circumstances display the result. There will be days when the upper ground feels dry again. An unexpected cost may appear. Work may become uncertain. A conversation may awaken an old fear. Someone else's success may stir comparison. A mistake may tempt you to declare that nothing has changed. The deeper work is still there. One difficult reaction does not drain everything you have practiced. One frightened thought does not erase every steadier choice. One old habit does not prove that the new direction is false. The hidden level can remain higher even when the surface is under strain. You can return. You can place the pen against the page again. You can record what is true now rather than repeating the harshest conclusion available. The return matters more than perfection. Rain does not apologize for arriving more than once. The ground does not fail because it needs renewal. You are building a relationship with repetition, not repetition as punishment, not repetition as a frantic attempt to force an outcome, repetition as nourishment, repetition as a way of teaching the mind which direction you want it to travel when pressure rises. This is why the sentence must be believable enough to enter. A line that feels impossible may remain on the surface. You may copy it while inwardly rejecting every word. The practice then becomes a contest between what you think you should believe and what your body is actually holding. You do not need a grand claim. You need a true direction. The sentence can begin where you are. It can recognize progress without pretending completion. It can support action without predicting reward. It can offer dignity without denying responsibility. A useful line does not tell you that every external problem has disappeared. It reminds you of the person you are practicing becoming while you meet those problems. You are not trying to command life. You are strengthening the inner ground from which you respond to life. The words that follow are meant to be placed on paper slowly. There is no need to hurry through them. Let each line stand by itself. Read it once, record it once, then look at what your hand has made. Begin with this line. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. Pause there. You do not need to decide whether you believe it completely. Ask whether it points toward the way you want to live. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. The word steady does not mean fearless. It does not mean perfect. It does not mean you never become tired, confused, or discouraged. Steady means you return to what supports you. It means you do not let one frightened moment become the author of every next step. It means you make room for facts, care, boundaries, and learning. Now place the line down once more. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. Let your eyes remain with it. The sentence does not say that one choice controls everything. It says choices accumulate. A calm review adds something. A clear request adds something. A reasonable limit adds something. A lesson learned without humiliation adds something. A practical decision made from self-respect adds something. Each one reaches deeper than the brief moment in which it occurs. Now continue, one line at a time. I can face today's facts without abandoning myself. I can learn what I was never taught. I can pause before fear chooses for me. I can ask clear questions with dignity. I can make practical changes without using shame. I can respect my needs and my limits. I can receive sincere support without losing my voice. I can value my effort without glorifying exhaustion. I can repair a choice without becoming the mistake. I can build trust through small, informed actions. I can let progress be quiet and still be real. I can return whenever an old pattern appears. Read the lines without grading your reaction. One may feel natural, another may create resistance, another may bring sadness, another may sound like something you have needed to hear for years. All of these responses can be present. The page is not asking you to perform agreement. It is helping you discover where the deeper ground is ready and where it is still tightly packed. Resistance is not proof that the practice has failed. Resistance often marks the place where an older rule has been repeated many times. If the line, "I can ask clear questions with dignity," feels difficult, you may have been punished for not knowing. If "I can respect my needs and my limits" feels uncomfortable, you may have been praised for ignoring both. If "I can receive sincere support without losing my voice" awakens tension, support may once have come with conditions. The reaction gives context. You can respond with a smaller sentence. A bridge does not demand that you cross the entire distance today. It gives your mind a next place to stand. Place this on the page. I am becoming steadier with each honest choice. That line makes room for process. Becoming does not mean pretending. It means you are no longer treating the old way as your only way. You may still brace, and you can learn to breathe. You may still avoid, and you can return to one fact. You may still understate your needs, and you can correct yourself. You may still feel guilty after choosing something supportive, and you can refuse to add punishment. You may still fear being seen, and you can take one visible step. Becoming respects the distance already traveled and the distance that remains. Record the bridge again. I am becoming steadier with each honest choice. Let the sentence remain modest. A modest truth repeated with care is more useful than a dramatic claim you cannot inhabit. You do not have to feel powerful. You can feel willing. You do not have to know the whole plan. You can identify one next action. You do not have to trust every person. You can learn to recognize safe support. You do not have to erase fear. You can stop giving fear the only vote. This is the kind of change that collects beneath daily life. It may enter your decisions before it enters your identity. You may do something steadier and still think of yourself as anxious. You may set a boundary and still feel guilty. You may ask for help and still hear the old accusation. Let behavior teach the older story. The action happened. The boundary was spoken. The question was asked. The page was opened. This evidence belongs to you. Do not dismiss it because your feelings have not caught up. Feelings often follow repeated experience. The inner ground needs time to recognize that a new response is not a temporary exception. Each return says, "This is how I care for myself now." Each practical choice says, "I am participating now." Each honest sentence says, "The old message is no longer unquestioned." You may be tempted to look at the life of another person and decide your reserve is too small. You may see their confidence, knowledge, access, or progress and assume they began with something you lack. You cannot see their entire ground. You cannot know every source feeding it. Comparison studies the surface and invents the rest. Return to your own page. What is entering your life now? What understanding have you gained? What skill are you practicing? What support have you identified? What reaction have you interrupted? What truth can you face today that you avoided before? These questions reveal movement that comparison hides. Your reserve may currently be knowledge. It may be a clearer sense of what you will no longer tolerate. It may be the courage to speak with someone qualified. It may be a better understanding of your own habits. It may be one stable routine. It may be the willingness to look. Do not call these things nothing. They are part of your foundation. A person can have outward resources and still lack the inner capacity to use them with care. Another person can be in a demanding season while quietly developing judgment, discipline, patience, and self-respect. The visible picture does not tell the whole story. This metaphor is not an excuse to remain passive. Water beneath the ground serves life because roots reach toward it, wells are placed carefully, and people learn how to use what is available. Inner reserves matter when they support action. Calm can help you review. Confidence can help you ask. Self-respect can help you set a limit. Curiosity can help you learn. Patience can help you stay with a process. The internal practice walks beside these steps. It does not replace them. If you are facing serious pressure, the loving response may include direct assistance, qualified advice, honest restructuring, or a conversation you have delayed. A sentence on the page can help you approach that support with less shame. It cannot do the professional's work, make a decision for you, or guarantee a particular result. The page prepares your posture. It reminds you that needing guidance does not reduce your worth. It helps you move from "I should hide this" toward "I can address this." That movement is valuable. Now return to the central line. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. Look at the words steady choices. They are plural. No single act must carry the whole future. You do not have to make one perfect decision that repairs every earlier decision. You are building through many acts. Some will be strong. Some will be incomplete. Some will teach you what to change next. The reserve grows through the relationship you form with your own choices. You begin to review them honestly. You stop calling yourself hopeless when an adjustment is needed. You learn the difference between a difficult result and a careless process. You recognize when fear made the decision. You recognize when values made the decision. You become more familiar with your own wisdom. That familiarity is self-trust. Self-trust is not the promise that you will never be wrong. It is the knowledge that you can remain present when correction is required. You can gather new information. You can admit what you did not know. You can seek support. You can change your mind. You can make amends where needed. You can begin another approach. A person who trusts their capacity to repair does not need to avoid every uncertain choice. They can participate more fully. They can tolerate learning. They can survive imperfection without turning it into identity. Place one more line on the page. I trust myself to learn, adjust, and return. This is not blind confidence. It is confidence rooted in process. You are not claiming control over every result. You are affirming your willingness to remain engaged. Record another. My worth does not rise and fall with numbers. A number can contain important information. It can describe an amount, a rate, a cost, a balance, or a change. It cannot describe the whole person looking at it. It cannot measure your kindness. It cannot measure your courage. It cannot account for everything you have survived, learned, repaired, or contributed. You can respect the information without surrendering your identity to it. Write, I can look clearly and still speak kindly. Clarity and compassion belong together. Compassion without clarity can become avoidance. Clarity without compassion can become punishment. Together, they create a steadier form of responsibility. You look. You name what is present. You identify what requires action. You refuse to turn the review into an attack. Then you choose the next useful step. This is the posture you are practicing. Look again at what your hand has placed on the page. These lines are not predictions. They are commitments to a way of meeting yourself. They cannot promise that every season will be easy. They can remind you not to make a hard season harder through contempt. They cannot guarantee that every request will be accepted. They can help you ask without disappearing. They cannot determine how quickly circumstances change. They can support the patience and courage needed to keep participating. A reserve is built before it is urgently needed. Today's practice may support a conversation next week. A boundary placed now may protect your time later. A lesson recorded today may guide a choice months from now. You may never know which repetition becomes the line you remember at the exact moment an old reaction is trying to take over. This is why the quiet work matters. It is not dramatic. It is available. The page can be returned to. The sentence can be practiced again. The hand can make the new direction visible. Keep the central line where you can see it. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. Let it become familiar without forcing it to become grand. Let it be a reminder to look beneath the surface. Let it call you back from comparison. Let it soften the urge to declare failure too soon. Let it guide you toward one honest act. The ground does not rush its hidden work. You do not need to rush yours. What is being held within you can deepen through patience, truth, and action. What is being practiced today can support a future version of you who responds with more steadiness than fear. The surface may not yet tell the story. The reserve is still rising. A deeper inner reserve changes the way you meet support. It does not make you dependent. It does not ask you to trust everyone. It does not remove your right to question, decline, pause, or protect what matters. It gives you enough inner steadiness to consider an offer before an old fear rejects it for you. Receiving has often been described as though it were passive. In truth, healthy receiving requires discernment. You must be present enough to recognize what is being offered, clear enough to understand its conditions, and grounded enough to know whether it belongs in your life. A frightened refusal is not always a boundary. Sometimes it is a habit. Sometimes the answer leaves your mouth before you have checked what you actually want. Someone offers assistance and you say you are fine. Someone praises your contribution and you redirect the credit. Someone wants to make something easier for you, and you begin explaining why you should handle it alone. A useful opportunity appears, and you search for reasons you are not ready. You may believe this keeps you humble. Humility does not require you to become invisible. You may believe refusing help proves strength. Strength includes knowing when support is appropriate. You may believe accepting something places you in permanent debt. A clean gift does not purchase your obedience. You are allowed to examine what comes toward you. You can ask what is expected. You can take time. You can listen to your body without assuming every discomfort is a warning. You can accept what is respectful and decline what is not. Healthy openness includes a door that can close. The goal is not to become endlessly available. It is to stop confusing self-erasure with goodness. You may have spent years trying to make sure no one could accuse you of taking too much. You gave more than you accepted. You offered help before mentioning your own strain. You made your contribution large and your needs small. This may have protected you from criticism. It may also have created relationships in which others leer, need to expect your giving and overlook your limits. You are not wrong for wanting to care for people. Care becomes harmful when it requires your disappearance. A generous life still needs edges. A person can be kind and say no. A person can be loving and ask for clarity. A person can be grateful and refuse an unfair condition. A person can accept support without surrendering their judgment. These truths may sound obvious until you try to live them. Then the old tension may return. Your chest tightens. Your mind begins preparing an explanation. You worry that a boundary will hurt someone. You imagine being misunderstood. You fear being called selfish, difficult, ungrateful, demanding, or changed. Let the discomfort speak without giving it control. It may be remembering a time when love depended on compliance. It may be remembering what happened when someone in your family challenged an expectation. It may be remembering the silence that followed a refusal. The present moment deserves to be examined on its own terms. You can ask, what is actually being requested? You can ask, do I have the capacity for this? You can ask, would saying yes create resentment? You can ask, am I agreeing from care or from fear? You do not need to answer instantly. A pause is not rejection. A pause is where discernment lives. The sentence you have placed on the page can serve you here. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. A steady choice may be accepting help. A steady choice may be refusing it. A steady choice may be asking for more information. A steady choice may be saying, I need time to think. The value is not in always opening or always closing. The value is in remaining connected to yourself while you decide. Guilt can make that connection difficult. Guilt may appear whenever something good reaches you. You may feel it when you rest. You may feel it when your work is praised. You may feel it when your circumstances improve. You may feel it when you choose comfort while someone you love is still struggling. The mind may tell you that enjoying anything is disloyal. It may say your ease proves you have forgotten others. It may insist that you must remain tense in order to remain caring. Your suffering does not reduce another person's suffering. Your refusal to breathe does not create air for them. Your shame does not become assistance. Care becomes more useful when it has form. A conversation, a practical contribution, a respectful limit, a shared resource, a recommendation, an honest presence. Endless guilt often feels meaningful while producing very little. You are allowed to turn care into a clear action and release the rest. You may not be able to solve every difficulty around you. You may not have the capacity to support everyone in the way they want. You may need to protect your own stability before offering more. This is not abandonment. It is honesty. Giving beyond your capacity can create hidden anger. It can create promises you cannot keep. It can make love feel like pressure. It can leave you depleted and unable to offer the kind of support that is truly sustainable. A dignified no can be kinder than a resentful yes. A smaller, honest offer can be better than a large promise made from guilt. You can say, I cannot do that, but I can do this. You can say, I care, and I need to protect this limit. You can say, I am not able to contribute in that way. You can say, let me consider what is realistic. Clear language protects connection from silent resentment. It also protects you from using generosity to earn your place. You do not have to purchase belonging through overextension. You do not have to make yourself indispensable in order to feel secure. You do not have to rescue every situation before you are permitted to rest. You can be loved when you are not solving. You can be respected when you are not sacrificing. You can remain valuable when someone is disappointed by your boundary. Their disappointment may be real. It does not automatically mean your choice is wrong. Someone may prefer the version of you who never paused, never questioned, and never asked for balance. Your growth may be inconvenient to people who benefited from your silence. That inconvenience is not a command to return to the old role. You can remain calm. You can remain respectful. You can remain firm. You do not need to become harsh in order to stop abandoning yourself. The deeper reserve is built each time you survive the discomfort of speaking clearly. At first, you may replay the conversation for hours. You may draft explanations no one requested. You may feel compelled to soften the boundary until it no longer protects you. Stay with the original truth. You considered your capacity. You answered honestly. You did not insult anyone. You did not make a promise you could not keep. The discomfort will move. The self-respect remains. Healthy receiving is connected to worth, but worth does not mean entitlement to every outcome. It means you do not treat yourself as less human when an outcome is uncertain. It means you approach opportunities without automatically disqualifying yourself. It means you can name your contribution without pretending you are flawless. You may have learned to wait until you feel completely prepared. Complete preparation rarely arrives. There is often another skill to learn, another detail to improve, another reason to delay. Readiness is not perfection. Readiness can sound like, I know enough to take the next responsible step. It can sound like, I can ask for help with what I do not know. It can sound like, I can begin carefully and adjust. You are not required to exaggerate your ability. You are also not required to it. When someone asks what you do well, you can answer directly. When you complete something meaningful, you can acknowledge the effort. When a fair opportunity appears, You can consider it without first building a case against yourself. This may feel like pride if you were taught that self-recognition is arrogance. Arrogance places the self above others. Self-respect places the self among others. You do not need to shrink anyone else in order to stand upright. You can honor another person's gifts and your own. You can learn from someone's progress without turning it into evidence against you. You can admire without disappearing. The same steadiness matters when you ask to be compensated fairly. Fairness is not a promise that every request will be accepted. It is the willingness to represent your time, effort, and scope honestly. You can research, you can prepare, you can explain, you can negotiate. You can hear no without translating it into a final judgment of your value. A declined request may contain information. It may reflect a budget, a mismatch, a timing issue, a different expectation, or a boundary on the other side. Not every no is an accusation. Not every negotiation is rejection. Not every difficult conversation means you asked for too much. You can review the facts. You can learn. You can decide whether to adjust, hold your position, or walk away. The inner sentence supports the courage to remain present while the answer is unknown. This is where practical action and inner practice meet. The page can clarify what you need to say. It can help you separate facts from fear. You can place the situation at the top. You can record what you know. You can record what you are assuming. You can identify the question that still needs an answer. You can choose one action that is yours to take. This keeps the practice from becoming vague. A calmer mindset is not an escape from details. It is a better place from which to meet them. When real strain is present, the kindest next step may be concrete. You may need to review spending, reorganize priorities, contact a service provider, seek legal information, speak with a qualified advisor, or ask a trusted person to help you understand the options. There is dignity in obtaining appropriate guidance. There is dignity in admitting that a situation is beyond what a personal affirmation can solve. Your inner work can help you approach that step without making shame the leader. It can remind you that support exists for a reason. It can help you ask questions until you understand. It can help you say, "Please explain that another way." It can help you avoid agreeing to something under pressure. It can help you slow down. Slowing down is not the same as avoiding. Avoidance turns away from information. A deliberate pause makes room to process information. You can know the difference by asking what happens after the pause. Do you return? Do you review? Do you seek clarity? Do you choose? A steady pause leads somewhere. An old fear may tell you to wait until you feel no anxiety. That could keep you waiting for a very long time. You can act while your hands are uncertain. You can ask while your voice is learning firmness. You can look at what is true while wishing it were different. You can take a practical step without demanding that it solve everything. One action is not too small when it changes your direction. The inner reserve grows through follow-through. Each time you keep a modest promise to yourself, self-trust deepens. The promise may be to open one document. It may be to make one call. It may be to record one amount. It may be to wait a day before making an impulsive choice. It may be to ask for the terms in writing. It may be to stop after the agreed amount of work. It may be to decline a request that exceeds your capacity. Do not promise 10 things when one is enough. A smaller commitment kept with care is stronger than a dramatic plan abandoned under pressure. You are learning that steadiness is not intensity. Intensity arrives loudly and often disappears quickly. Steadiness returns. It respects energy. It works with what is real. It makes room for adjustment. Your page can reflect this. Instead of recording a long declaration about changing your whole life, place one sentence that you can support today. I will ask for the information I need. I will review this without attacking myself. I will protect the limit I already named. I will take one practical step before the day ends. Choose language that makes action visible. Then let the action teach your mind that the sentence was not empty. You may wish to share one of these lines so that your commitment becomes witnessed. In the comments, write one sentence you are choosing today. Use your own words. Let it be honest enough to carry and clear enough to practice. The act of sharing is not a promise of perfection. It is a marker. It says, "This is the direction I am willing to strengthen." After you have placed the sentence somewhere visible, return to your day without testing yourself every hour. A seed of thought does not need to be dug up repeatedly to prove it is changing the ground. Give your practice room. Live beside it. Let it appear in ordinary moments. You may remember your line while standing at a counter. You may remember it before sending a message. You may remember it when an old feeling insists that you have no choice. The line does not make the choice for you. It brings you back to the person making it. That is the deeper purpose. Your attention returns. Your breath returns. Your authority returns. You become less likely to hand the entire moment to fear. There may still be times when you say yes and later realize you meant no. You can correct yourself. You can say, "I answered too quickly." You can say, "I need to revise what I agreed to." You can say, "I have reconsidered my capacity." Correction may feel embarrassing. It is still healthier than silently carrying a commitment you cannot sustain. You are permitted to learn through experience. You are permitted to discover a limit after crossing it. You are permitted to become clearer. The goal is not flawless foresight. The goal is a more honest relationship with yourself. There may also be times when you refuse something and later realize it was safe to accept. You can reopen the conversation. You can say, "I have thought about your offer." You can practice letting care reach you. You do not have to punish yourself for the first reflex. The reflex was learned. The new response is being learned too. Healthy receiving may begin with very small acts. Letting someone finish the compliment, saying thank you without arguing, accepting useful information, letting another person contribute, taking the rest you planned, using the good item instead of saving it for an imaginary perfect day, allowing a task to be easier. These moments teach the body that support can enter without disaster. They raise the hidden level little by little. They help you understand that dignity is not maintained through constant refusal. Dignity is maintained through choice. You choose what fits. You choose what does not. You remain present in both. As the reserve grows, urgency may lose some of its power. You become more capable of waiting for details. You become less likely to accept poor terms because fear says nothing else will appear. You become less likely to reject a respectful opportunity because discomfort says you are not ready. You can distinguish pressure from possibility. You can distinguish flattery from genuine appreciation. You can distinguish obligation from mutual care. This discernment is a form of wealth within the self. It cannot guarantee what the world will do. It can change the quality of your participation. You are not becoming open to everything. You are becoming available to what is respectful, useful, and aligned with your values. You are not surrendering caution. You are refining it. You are not replacing action with hopeful words. You are giving action a steadier foundation. Return to the sentence. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. Let it include the choice to seek help. Let it include the choice to rest. Let it include the choice to prepare. Let it include the choice to ask. Let it include the choice to decline. Let it include the choice to accept. The reserve does not rise through one type of decision. It rises through decisions made in honest relationship with yourself. You are learning to hear what fear says without calling it prophecy. You are learning to hear what guilt says without calling it duty. You are learning to hear what shame says without calling it truth. These voices may remain familiar. Familiarity is not authority. You can thank the old protection for trying to keep you safe. Then you can choose from the present. The present has facts the past did not have. The present has skills you have developed. The present has language you did not once possess. The present may have forms of support that were unavailable before. Look again, ask again, decide again. You are not trapped inside the first lesson you learned. You can revise the sentence. You can practice the boundary. You can strengthen the next action. You can let care reach you without turning it into a debt. You can honor others without reducing yourself. You can face practical reality without surrendering to humiliation. The surface may still carry questions. Beneath it, a steadier capacity is gathering. It is becoming easier to return to yourself. It is becoming easier to choose with dignity. It is becoming easier to let support be support. The inner reserve becomes useful when you remember it during ordinary pressure. Not only when you are seated with a page open, not only when you feel thoughtful, not only when the room is quiet. It matters when a message arrives and your body tightens before you have read it fully. It matters when someone asks for an answer faster than you are ready to give one. It matters when comparison tries to make your progress look insignificant. It matters when an old fear takes one difficult fact and turns it into a story about your entire future. Those are the moments when the deeper level can support you. You do not need to feel completely calm before using what you have practiced. You can begin while your heart is beating faster. You can place both feet on the floor. You can take one slower breath. You can read the information again. You can separate what is present from what your fear has added. What is the fact? What is the assumption? What requires attention? What can wait? What support would help? These questions bring you back beneath the first reaction. The surface may still be disturbed. The deeper level can remain steady. A hard moment does not require a hard voice. You can speak inwardly with firmness and respect. This needs my attention. I do not have to solve it all at once. I can gather what I need. I can make one clear choice. This is not avoidance. It is a way of keeping panic from taking over the whole process. When pressure rises, the mind often wants certainty immediately. It wants to know how everything will turn out. It wants proof that no further difficulty will appear. When that proof is unavailable, the mind may produce its own conclusion. This will never improve. I am back where I started. I cannot handle another problem. These lines may feel convincing because they arrive with emotion. Emotion gives them volume, not accuracy. You can let the feeling be present without making it the final authority. You can say, I am frightened, and I am still capable of looking. You can say, I do not know the outcome, and I can choose the next step. You can say, this is difficult, and I do not have to attack myself. The purpose of a calmer inner tone is not to make you passive. It is to keep your capacity available. Fear spends energy quickly. Shame wastes attention. Self-contempt makes useful action harder. Dignity preserves enough strength to continue. This is especially important after a mistake. A choice may need repair. A plan may need adjustment. A conversation may need to be reopened. The first impulse may be to judge yourself before anyone else can. You may believe that harshness proves you understand the seriousness of what happened. Understanding does not require humiliation. You can name the consequence. You can take responsibility. You can learn what led to the decision. You can seek qualified guidance when needed. You can choose a different response next time. None of this is improved by calling yourself hopeless. The deeper reserve is not built by never making errors. It is built by remaining present enough to repair them. Each repair becomes part of what you can draw from later. You remember that you have faced difficulty before. You remember that confusion can become clearer. You remember that one action can reduce a problem. You remember that asking for help did not destroy your dignity. These memories become stored strength. A reserve is also built through patience with slow results. You may make better choices for a while and still not see the outer change you hoped for. Some consequences take time to shift. Some systems move slowly. Some goals require repeated effort. Some seasons ask more from you than you expected. Do not turn delay into proof that your work is meaningless. The hidden level can rise before the upper ground looks different. Your ability to stay with the process may already be changing. Your judgment may already be clearer. Your willingness to ask questions may already be stronger. Your limits may already be more honest. These shifts matter because they influence what you do next. You are not required to celebrate every delay. You can feel tired. You can feel disappointed. You can admit that you wanted faster progress. Honesty and hope can stand together. You can say, "This is taking longer than I wanted, and I am still moving with care." You can say, "I am discouraged, and I am not abandoning myself." You can say, "The surface is quiet, and the deeper work continues." These are not empty comforts. They keep you in relationship with the path you have chosen. There may be times when you need to stop and revise the plan. Persistence does not mean repeating an approach that is not working. Steadiness includes review. What has helped? What has reined you? What have you learned? What no longer fits? Where is expert support needed? A stronger foundation makes revision less threatening. You do not have to treat every change of direction as failure. You can respond to new information. You can update your approach. You can preserve the goal while changing the method. Water below the ground does not travel in one straight line. It moves through the spaces available. It gathers where the earth can hold it. It continues downward through openings that may be too small to see. Your progress may also move indirectly. A conversation may not produce the result you expected, but it may teach you to ask more clearly. A declined opportunity may help you refine what you offer. A difficult review may reveal a habit you are ready to change. A boundary may create temporary discomfort and lasting relief. Do not measure every step only by whether it delivered the final result. Some steps reveal, some strengthen, some protect, some prepare. A wise life makes room for all of them. You are not trying to force every drop into immediate use. You are letting useful capacity collect, the ability to pause, the ability to look, the ability to ask, the ability to decline, the ability to accept, the ability to learn, the ability to return. These capacities support many parts of life. They can help you make clearer agreements. They can help you recognize when urgency is being used to pressure you. They can help you wait for reliable information. They can help you speak more directly. They can help you avoid decisions made only to escape discomfort. The deeper reserve is not about pretending you have no needs. It helps you meet those needs with more honesty. You may need time. You may need knowledge. You may need rest. You may need firmer limits. You may need professional support. You may need a conversation that feels uncomfortable. Naming the need is not the same as demanding that the world meet it exactly as you wish. It is the beginning of responding wisely. You can ask, what part of this is mine? You can ask, what part belongs to someone else? You can ask, what can I influence? You can ask, what must I accept for now? These distinctions protect your energy. Without them, you may try to control what cannot be controlled while neglecting the action that is actually available. You may spend hours imagining another person's response and avoid preparing your own words. You may worry about every possible future and ignore the document in front of you. You may try to eliminate all risk instead of reducing what can reasonably be reduced. Return to your part, your attention, your preparation, your honesty, your limits, your next action. This is where your authority lives. The page can become a place where you return authority to yourself. Not authority over other people, not authority over events, authority over the way you participate. You can record, I can meet this moment without leaving myself. I can take responsibility without taking every burden. I can make room for support and still keep my judgment. I can choose carefully without demanding certainty. I can act from self-respect even while fear is present. Let these lines settle beneath argument. You do not need to wrestle your old reactions into silence. You can place something steadier beside them. Over time, the new voice becomes easier to find. The first voice may still arrive quickly. The second voice can arrive sooner than it once did. At first, it may come hours later, then minutes later, then in the middle of the reaction. Eventually, there may be moments when it arrives first. That is quiet progress. Do not dismiss it because no one else can see it. The deeper level is rising. You may also begin to recognize when enough is present, A fear-trained mind often moves the line of enough each time you approach it. It says you can relax after one more task, one more goal, one more proof, one more safeguard. Then the line moves again. You can practice recognizing enough in smaller forms, enough information for the next question, enough energy for one action, enough clarity to pause, enough support to begin learning, enough evidence to stop insulting yourself, enough time to choose carefully. This does not mean settling for harmful conditions. It means refusing to make inner peace depend on total completion. There will be unfinished parts. You can still breathe. There will be uncertainty. You can still eat, rest, laugh, and speak kindly. There will be goals ahead. You can still acknowledge what has already been built. The deeper reserve grows more easily when every day is not treated as an emergency. Your body needs moments in which it is not preparing for loss. Your mind needs moments in which it is not calculating danger. You can create these moments through small acts, closing the screen after the review is complete, taking the walk you planned, letting a decision rest until the information arrives, ending work when the agreed task is finished, sitting quietly for a few minutes without trying to solve anything. These pauses are not wasted. They let the ground absorb what has entered. Without pause, even helpful information can become overwhelming. You do not need to process your entire history in one sitting. You do not need to replace every old sentence today. You can work with the one that appears most often. You can answer it with one steadier line. You can support that line with one action. Then you can return another day. This is sustainable practice. It respects the pace at which trust develops. It does not demand a performance of transformation. It makes room for a real life. A real life includes interruption. It includes fatigue. It includes days when the page remains closed. It includes moments when you forget everything you meant to remember. You can return without drama. You do not need to punish yourself for the interruption. The return is part of the practice. The ground does not reject the next rain because time has passed. It takes in what can enter. You can do the same. Take in one useful thought. Let one line become familiar. Let one practical act follow. Then let yourself stop. The following words are meant to fall one by one. You do not need to hold all of them. Let the ones that fit enter more deeply. Let the others pass without force. I am learning to meet numbers calmly. I respect the facts before me. I remain kind while I review. I can ask for clear information. I can take time to understand. I make room for wise support. I protect my right to choose. I respect my effort and energy. I can name what I need. I can honor a reasonable limit. I do not need to over-explain. I can pause before answering. I can change direction with dignity. I can learn from every outcome. I am more than one decision. I am more than one difficult season. I can repair without self-punishment. I can prepare without living in fear. I can plan without demanding guarantees. I can care without carrying everything. I can help without abandoning myself. I can accept kindness without shrinking. I can let appreciation reach me. I can stand behind honest work. I can speak clearly about value. I can hear no and remain whole. I can say no and remain caring. I can welcome respectful opportunities. I can decline what does not fit. I can recognize clean support. I can keep my voice while accepting help. I can let progress happen quietly. I can trust what is growing within me. I can build through modest actions. I can return to what supports me. I can choose steadiness over urgency. I can choose clarity over shame. I can choose learning over hiding. I can choose dignity today. I am willing to look. I am willing to ask. I am willing to learn. I am willing to adjust. I am willing to return. I have inner room. I have growing strength. I have useful choices. I have my voice. I keep learning. I keep returning. I stay present. I choose clearly. I breathe slowly. I stand steady. I am here. I am capable. I am learning. I am supported. I am grounded. I am ready. Quiet strength, clear choices, honest action, steady ground, deeper trust. Enough for now. Let the final words become shorter because you do not need to explain everything to yourself. You know what they point toward. A calmer review, a clearer question, a wiser pause, a more honest answer. You do not need to carry every line into the rest of the day. Choose one. Let it remain. You may choose. I stay present. You may choose clear choices. You may return to the central sentence. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. Let the words settle without demanding a result. You have practiced another way of speaking to yourself. You have given the mind a different direction. You have placed dignity beside responsibility. You have placed action beside hope. You have placed patience beside change. What is held beneath the surface does not need to prove itself immediately. It can remain quiet. It can continue deepening. It can support the next moment when you are asked to choose. You do not need the whole future in your hands. You need the next honest step. You need the willingness to return. You need the reminder that your inner ground is not empty. Something useful is gathering. Something steady is becoming more available. The reserve is rising. The reserve you have been building does not ask you to become someone else. It asks you to return more fully to the person who can look, learn, choose, and begin again. You may have spent years imagining that change would feel like becoming fearless. You may have waited for the day when every old reaction disappeared and every decision became obvious. That day is not required. A steadier life is not a life without uncertainty. It is a life in which uncertainty no longer removes you from yourself. There may still be a quick tightening when you see an unexpected number. There may still be a moment of hesitation before naming what you need. There may still be guilt when you rest, ask, accept, or decline. The old response may continue to knock. You are learning that you do not have to open the door every time. You can hear it. You can understand where it came from. You can place your hand on the page and choose another sentence. That is enough to change the direction of the moment. You do not need to declare war on your past. The part of you that learned to brace was trying to protect something precious. It may have been protecting connection. It may have been protecting you from disappointment. It may have been protecting you from conflict, shame, or the fear of becoming a burden. Honor the intention without continuing the cost. You can say inwardly, I understand why you learned this. Then you can add, I have more choices now. That second sentence is important. You have more language now. You have more experience now. You have the ability to ask questions that a younger version of you could not ask. You can seek information. You can pause before agreeing. You can leave what is harmful. You can return to what is useful. You can ask for help from people trained to offer it. You can make a plan that respects present facts rather than inherited fear. The past may explain the first reaction. It does not have to decide the final response. This is where your authorship lives, not in controlling every event, not in forcing a particular result, not in pretending the world is always fair. Your authorship lives in the sentences you keep practicing and the actions you place beside them. You can write, I can face what is here. Then you can open the document. You can write, I can ask clearly. Then you can send the question. You can write, my limits deserve respect. Then you can protect the time you named. You can write, "I can learn without humiliation." Then you can seek reliable guidance. A sentence becomes stronger when your behavior gives it somewhere to stand. An action becomes steadier when your inner voice does not attack you through every step. The two belong together. You may return to this page tomorrow and feel different from how you feel now. One day, the central line may feel comforting. Another day, it may feel distant. The value of the practice does not depend on producing the same emotion every time. Your mood is the surface. The practice enters deeper ground. Record the line even when it feels ordinary. Read it when you are calm, not only when you are afraid. Let it become part of the language available to you before pressure arrives. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. You do not need to repeat it with force. You can speak it as a fact you are practicing. You can let the words move at the pace of the hand. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. Think of one steady choice you have already made. It does not need to be impressive. You may have paused before, buying something from urgency. You may have asked for more time. You may have reviewed a detail you once avoided. Perhaps you said no without inventing an excuse. Perhaps you accepted a sincere compliment and let it remain. Perhaps you admitted that you needed support. Let that action count. Do not erase it because it did not solve everything. A reserve is made of many small additions. Your choice entered the ground. Your return entered the ground. Your honesty entered the ground. What you practice becomes easier to reach again. This does not mean progress will always move in one direction. Some days you may act from clarity. Other days, an old pattern may take over before you recognize it. Recognition is still part of the new pattern. You may see the reaction sooner. You may recover with less punishment. You may make a repair more directly. You may stop one sentence before it becomes a whole day of self-attack. That matters. Do not demand that growth look flawless before you call it real. The hidden level can rise while the upper ground remains uneven. You can be healing an old relationship with security while still feeling afraid. You can be practicing self-respect while still finding boundaries uncomfortable. You can be growing in confidence while still asking for reassurance. Human change is rarely pure. It is layered. A new response learns to live beside the old one before it becomes more familiar. Give it time. Give it evidence. Give it action. There may be people who do not understand the change. They may prefer the role you used to play. They may call your pause distance. They may call your limit selfishness. They may call your new clarity unnecessary. Listen for useful feedback. Do not confuse every reaction with truth. You can review your behavior without surrendering your boundary. You can apologize when you have caused harm. You can revise your tone. You can correct a misunderstanding. You can remain clear about what you can offer. Healthy self-respect is not rigidity. It is an honest center from which revision can happen without collapse. You are allowed to become more precise. You are allowed to say, I care about this, and I cannot carry all of it. You are allowed to say, I appreciate the offer, and I need to understand the terms. You are allowed to say, I made a mistake, and I am working on the repair. You are allowed to say, I do not know, and I will find out. These are mature sentences. They do not promise perfection. They keep you present. Presence is one of the deepest forms of inner prosperity. You remain with your life. You do not abandon the page because the truth is uncomfortable. You do not abandon your voice because someone may disagree. You do not abandon your body because a task feels urgent. You do not abandon practical action because a hopeful phrase feels easier. You remain. You look. You choose. You return. There may be moments when the most supportive sentence is not the most positive one. It may be the most honest line that keeps movement possible. This is hard, and I can ask for help. I feel ashamed, and I can still look. I am uncertain, and I can wait for more information. I want this opportunity, and I can respect my limits. I am disappointed, and I can continue with care. Truth creates room. Exaggeration creates resistance. Let your language be spacious enough for your real experience. The hand can record both the feeling and the direction. You can place the old sentence on one line. I am afraid there will not be enough. Then place the new response beneath it. I am learning to work with what is here. You do not have to pretend the fear never spoke. You are teaching it that it is no longer alone on the page. A wiser voice is present now. That voice does not shame you. It does not guarantee what it cannot know. It does not tell you to ignore risk. It reminds you of your capacity. It tells you to gather facts. It tells you to protect your dignity. It tells you to seek appropriate support. It tells you to make the next honest choice. That is the voice you are strengthening. Your future is not created by language alone. It is shaped by conditions, opportunities, systems, relationships, decisions, and many things outside one person's control. Your inner language still matters because it influences how you participate in what is available. It can help you recognize a choice. It can help you remain in a conversation. It can help you ask for clarification. It can help you recover after disappointment. It can help you stop mistaking shame for wisdom. This is enough reason to practice. You do not need mystical promises. You need a voice you can live beside. You need words that help you become more honest, more capable of learning, and less willing to disappear. Let the page be a place where you meet that voice. Return now to the lines that support your next step. I can meet reality with dignity. I can learn what I need to learn. I can ask without apologizing for existing. I can protect my capacity. I can accept respectful support. I can change my approach. I can repair what is mine to repair. I can stop carrying what is not mine. I can take one useful step. I can let that step be enough for now. Read the last line again. I can let that step be enough for now. Enough for now does not mean enough forever. It means you are releasing the demand to complete the whole journey in one moment. You can take one step and rest. You can review one part and close the page. You can ask one question and wait for the answer. You can make one change and observe what follows. This pace is not weakness. It is how sustainable trust is built. You may wish to keep the central sentence near the place where practical decisions happen. Place it beside your notebook. Keep it inside a folder. Record it at the top of a page before reviewing details. Not as decoration, as orientation. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. The sentence turns you toward process. It reminds you that calm is built. Clarity is practiced. Self-trust is earned through return. The reserve does not need to be perfect to support you. It only needs to be available. You have already made it more available by slowing down long enough to witness your own language. You have already interrupted the speed of the old story. You have already placed another direction in your hand. Carry that direction into one action, not 10. 1. Let it be clear. Let it be practical. Let it respect both hope and reality. Then permit yourself to stop measuring the change. The ground does not need constant inspection. What enters can continue moving. What is practiced can continue settling. What is learned can continue shaping the next response. You may not see it all today. You may feel it later as a pause. You may hear it later as a clearer sentence. You may recognize it later as the courage to ask, decline, begin, or return. Trust the quiet accumulation without turning trust into passivity. Keep taking the actions that belong to you. Keep seeking qualified help when the situation requires it. Keep learning from reliable information. Keep honoring the limits that protect your well-being. Keep making room for joy that does not have to wait for a flawless future. Your life is happening while you build. You are allowed to be present for it. Take a breath that is not an argument. Let your shoulders lower without treating rest as surrender. Let your hands become still for a moment. The page has received what you placed upon it. You do not need to force the words deeper. They can travel through repetition, reflection, and action. The reserve grows in silence. The reserve supports without boasting. The reserve remains available beneath changing days. You are not empty because the surface is uncertain. You are not failing because progress is quiet. You are not behind because learning takes time. You are here. You are participating. You are becoming steadier. There is no need to use the page as another place to judge yourself. Your handwriting does not need to be beautiful. Your sentence does not need to sound impressive. The practice is not a performance for anyone else. A crossed-out word can remain. An uncertain line can remain. A date can be placed at the top so that one day you can look back and see how often you returned. You may discover that the same fear appears many times. Do not call that failure. Repetition reveals the message that most needs a steadier answer. You may also discover that the answer changes as you grow. A bridge sentence that once felt difficult may later feel natural. A line that once seemed possible may become the way you already live. Let the page show you this movement. Do not search only for what still hurts. Look for what has become easier. Look for the question you can now ask. Look for the limit you can now hold. Look for the mistake you can now review without collapse. Look for the kindness you can now accept. These are signs that the ground is holding more. You may not need the same words forever. The purpose of the sentence is not to create a new cage. It is to support a freer and more responsible relationship with yourself. When the line has served its season, you can choose another that meets the truth in front of you. For now, this one is enough. When you return to the page, begin with the event rather than the accusation. Name what happened in plain language. A cost was higher than expected. An answer did not arrive. A request was declined. A plan changed. A limit was crossed. A choice did not work as hoped. Plain language keeps one event from becoming an identity. It keeps the mind close to what can be examined. The sentence, "A plan changed," creates room for a new plan. The sentence, "I can never make anything work," closes that room before you have looked. After naming the event, name the first conclusion that appeared inside you. Do not polish it. Do not make it sound wiser than it was. If the thought was harsh, place it down as it came. Then look at the difference between the event and the conclusion. The event may be real. The conclusion may be old. A delayed answer is not proof that you are unwanted. An unexpected cost is not proof that you are incapable. A boundary from another person is not proof that your needs are wrong. A difficult result is not proof that every effort was wasted. This separation is a form of clarity. It gives the present moment its true size. It prevents one fact from borrowing the weight of every earlier fear. You can then answer with a sentence that respects both truth and possibility. The answer has not arrived, and I can decide what to do next. This cost needs attention, and I can seek clear options. The request was declined, and I can review the fit without attacking myself. The plan changed, and I can make another plan. A grounded response is not always comforting at first. Sometimes it is useful before it feels comforting. It gives you a direction that shame cannot provide. You can return to this sequence whenever the mind begins speaking in absolutes. Name the event. Name the old conclusion. Name the steadier response. Choose the next action. Then stop. You do not need to keep circling the same page until certainty appears. Reflection has served its purpose when it leads to clearer understanding or a practical next step. Beyond that point, continued review can become another form of fear. Close the notebook when the work is complete. Let your body leave the problem for a while. A pause can protect the quality of the next decision. The hidden reserve grows not only through attention, but also through ending attention at the right time. There is wisdom in knowing when to look. There is wisdom in knowing when to stop looking. You may need to practice this if vigilance once helped you feel safe. The mind may insist that one more hour of thinking will prevent every mistake. It may keep returning to the same details, searching for a certainty that the details cannot give. Ask whether new information is being discovered. Ask whether a decision is becoming clearer. Ask whether the review is still useful. When the answer is no, ending the review is not carelessness. It is a boundary around your attention. Your attention is one of the resources you are learning to protect. Where it goes repeatedly, your inner life follows. If it is directed only toward danger, the world begins to feel made entirely of danger. If it is directed only toward what has gone wrong, your own capacity becomes difficult to remember. Balanced attention does not ignore risk. It includes risk within a larger field. It includes what is known. It includes what has already been handled. It includes the help that exists. It includes the skills you can use. It includes the time that remains. It includes the parts that do not need an answer today. This wider view can change the posture of the next action. You may still choose caution. You may still decide that an offer is not right. You may still need to reduce a commitment, change a plan, or ask for expert guidance. The difference is that the choice is being made from a fuller picture. The old story does not get to remove every other fact. Your page can also help you prepare for conversations that awaken old tension. Before the conversation, record the clearest fact. Record the outcome you are asking for. Record the limit you need to protect. Record the question that must be answered. Then remove every apology that is only trying to make your existence less inconvenient. You can be respectful without weakening the truth. You can say, "This was the agreement." You can say, "I need clarification before I continue." You can say, "That change affects the time required." You can say, "I am not able to commit to that." Direct language may feel exposed when you are used to wrapping every need in long explanations. The exposure does not mean the words are unkind. Read them again. Are they factual? Are they respectful? Are they clear? If they are, let them stand. You are not responsible for making every truth pleasant to every listener. You are responsible for expressing your part with care. The response belongs to the other person. This distinction can preserve much of your energy. Without it, you may spend days trying to control how someone will feel about a sentence you have not yet spoken. You may edit until the request disappears. You may offer concessions before a iron begins. Bring your attention back to your side of the exchange. Your facts, your tone, your request, your limit, your willingness to listen. That is enough responsibility for one person. Afterward, return to the page only to record what you learned. Did you stay present? Did you speak the main point? Did you hear useful information? Did you discover a place that needs practice? The measure is not whether the conversation unfolded exactly as you wanted. The measure is whether you participated with increasing honesty. This is how courage becomes stored. It is not stored only through success. It is stored through the memory that you entered the conversation and remained connected to yourself. The next time, your body has another experience to draw from. The ground holds that experience. Your voice may still shake. Your preparation is still real. Your boundary may still feel new. Your action is still part of the reserve. You can use the same approach after a choice that brought regret. Begin with what you knew at the time. Name what you did not know. Name what you did. Name what pressure influenced you. Name what you would do differently with the understanding you have now. This turns regret into instruction. Punishment keeps you facing backward. Instruction gives the past a useful place in the future. You are not excusing harm. You are making learning possible. Where repair is needed, make it as clearly as you can. Where guidance is needed, seek it. Where the result cannot be undone, let the lesson become part of your next decision. A person who can learn from regret becomes less afraid of being human. They do not become careless. They become more capable of correction. That capacity is stronger than the fantasy of never being wrong. The fantasy creates hiding. Capacity creates return. You may also use the page when something goes well. This can be unexpectedly difficult. A fear-trained mind often reviews mistakes in detail and treats good outcomes as accidents. It says the timing was lucky. It says the task was easy. It says anyone could have done it. Place the facts down without exaggeration. You prepared. You asked. You followed through. You adapted. You used a skill. You accepted help. You stayed with the process. Acknowledging your part does not deny the contribution of others or the role of circumstance. It gives your effort an honest place in the picture. This matters because self-trust needs accurate evidence. If every good result is dismissed and every difficult result is personalized, the inner record becomes distorted. Correct the record. Let successful choices count. Let repairs count. Let restraint count. Let questions count. Let the decision not to rush count. Let the choice to seek guidance count. These actions may not look dramatic, but they create a more dependable relationship with yourself. You begin to know that you can be counted on for the next step, not for total control, not for perfect performance, for presence, for truth, for return. This is enough to support a different future response. There will be seasons when your main practice is expansion. You may be learning to speak more clearly, show your work, consider better opportunities, or accept greater responsibility. There will be seasons when your main practice is protection. You may be reducing strain, ending an unhealthy arrangement, rebuilding stability, or caring for what has been neglected. Neither season is more worthy. The ground holds rain in preparation for many kinds of weather. Your inner reserve can support movement and rest. It can support a brave yes. It can support a necessary no. It can support beginning. It can support waiting for reliable facts. Do not force the current season to look like someone else's. Ask what this season requires from you. Does it require learning? Does it require repair? Does it require patience? Does it require a direct conversation? Does it require professional support? Does it require a smaller promise that can actually be kept? The answer may be less glamorous than the fantasy. It may also be far more useful. A strong foundation is often built through choices no one applauds. Keeping a document organized, reading the terms carefully, ending a repeated leak of time or energy, admitting that an approach is not sustainable, choosing not to act under pressure, returning to a task after embarrassment. These actions do not announce transformation. They create it. Each one says that your life is worthy of attention. Each one says that fear is not the only voice present. Each one says that your future deserves more than an inherited reflex. Let this understanding soften the way you measure yourself. You are not only the result visible today, you are also the capacity being built for tomorrow. You are the question you are now willing to ask. You are the boundary you are learning to hold. You are the care with which you review a difficult fact. You are the refusal to turn one mistake into a permanent identity. You are the return. The surface can change quickly. Praise can arrive and leave. A plan can work and later need revision. Circumstances can improve and then become demanding again. The deeper reserve is not built on constant external approval. It is built on a relationship with your own values, honesty, responsibility, care, discernment, courage, patience. These qualities can guide you through more than one kind of season. When the surface changes, you are not left with nothing. You can still ask what is true. You can still choose what belongs to you. You can still seek help. You can still begin with one useful action. Return once more to the sentence at the center of this practice. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. Let steady mean honest wrath, than impressive. Let choices mean the acts that are truly yours. Let deepen mean that repetition matters. Let unseen remind you not to judge the whole process by today's surface. Let inner reserves mean the calm, skill, self-respect, and courage that become easier to reach because you have practiced them. Now place beneath it, I can use what I am building. This line matters. The reserve is not meant only to be admired. It is meant to support the next clear action. Use your growing calm to look. Use your growing clarity to ask. Use your growing self-respect to protect a limit. Use your growing courage to seek appropriate guidance. Use your growing patience to stay with a sound process. Use your growing discernment to step away from pressure. What is building within you becomes meaningful through participation. No force is required. One honest application is enough. The next time an old sentence appears, you may not remember every word from these pages. You do not need to. Remember the movement. From accusation to fact, from fear to question, from shame to instruction, from urgency to pause, from isolation to suitable support, from self-erasure to a clear limit, from one difficult moment to one useful step. This movement is the practice. It can be returned to in a few breaths. It can be carried without a notebook. It can become the quiet path your mind knows how to find. The first path may still be older. The newer path can still become stronger. Each time you take it, the ground holds the direction more clearly. Each time you return, less energy is spent trying to invent a way forward. You know the next sequence. Look, name, choose, act, rest, then return when needed. There is dignity in this rhythm. There is strength in its modesty. There is no promise that every problem will resolve quickly. There is a promise you can make to yourself. You will not use every problem as a reason to abandon your own side. Keep that promise in practical ways. Speak with respect. Gather reliable facts. Take the action that belongs to you. Ask for trained support when the issue exceeds your knowledge. Protect the time and energy needed to continue. Let one completed step become part of the reserve. You do not have to feel different before doing this. The feeling may follow. The confidence may follow. The visible change may follow at its own pace. For now, the direction is enough. For now, your presence is enough. For now, the next honest action is enough. Let the final vow be simple enough to carry. I rise as my hidden reserves deepen. Keep that line beside the central sentence. One names the practice. One names the person practicing it. Steady choices deepen my unseen inner reserves. I rise as my hidden reserves deepen. You do not rise by denying the ground beneath you. You rise because you have learned to draw from it. You rise because you can return after fear. You rise because you can face facts without turning them into a verdict. You rise because you can ask for help and keep your dignity. You rise because you can make a repair. You rise because you can let one step count. The movement may remain quiet. It is still movement. The surface may need time. The deeper level is not waiting for permission to grow. Let today's sentence remain where your hand can find it. Let today's action be honest. Let today's progress be enough. Keep rising. Life is with you. What grows quietly within you can guide you well.